you can sort of see it the same with his jiu-jitsu thing. A lot of people, even though they'll do it a lot, and they'll go to the practice, and they'll go to the training, and they'll show up every day, dude, they're not going to be the top master fucking purple belt motherfucker, like insane octagon warrior. They're just not. Yeah, you know what, chat? I didn't even watch the whole Joe Rogan thing. I kind of want to watch it now, dude.
The Joe Rogan experience.
Is that I see that I see this as like the purest way or whatever. I've always felt that way. I meant like that's like it's like if I skateboard all the time and I love like seeing it, but I never even had the thought that, oh dude, I'm making it a career or something. That only came like way later on. I just did it because I wanted to, whatever. It just came from like passion or something. I didn't see it as something else. I found it interesting because I was interested, but it has nothing to do with the career or the path behind it.
Games are a real problem.
Chat, is there like scientific stuff behind the fact that this is very real for part of the majority, but there's also this other path like, holy shit, I don't want to be that. Like, look at these motherfuckers, man. I'm not gonna sit on my entire life like these complete degenerate cucks. I'm gonna stop it right there, okay? Up to this point, every point that was currently made can be directly applied and emulated through gaming. So far, I don't remember, I don't know what he says next, but you can say, oh, after a lot of time that I put into gaming, I can enter tournaments, I can go to LANs, I can travel to compete, I can win prize pools. And then he says, open up a school, I can make tutorial videos, or I can make a coaching sessions online where there's an actual a decent amount of people that pay to get coached in certain games if you have a certain amount of skill. And if you're that top percentile players, people want that. There's a demand for that, and that works in both fields equally so far.
You have
okay, chat. Listen, this is not coming from a bias point of view. I'm actually taking a full backwards on this, and I'm trying to see this from a perspective. This is a difficult take because if you approach gaming casually and you see it as playing, you can sort of see it the same with his jiu-jitsu thing. A lot of people, even though they'll do it a lot and they'll go to the practice and they'll go to the training and they'll show up every day, dude, they're not going to be the top master fucking purple belt motherfucker, like insane octagon warrior. They're just not. They're just they have a casual approach. Just like there's a casual approach to everything. They're not gonna be the best. It's just not meant to be because of the way they approach it, the way they do it, or other limitations. But it doesn't matter. The same way people approach games. Yeah, games are addicting. That's an entire problem on its own. That is completely unrelated to comparing it to real sports. You can't do it. Even though you're saying it's an example, okay, it's a bad example. The problem with video games isn't what he's talking about. If you're gonna use addiction as a problem or whatever, you can't use that as an example. It's just not a good one. Guys, here's you know what? Since we're gonna play this game, I'm gonna give you my example. What about that kid that's playing basketball all fucking time, all fucking day? He goes to high school, preschool, whatever, and after school he plays the basketball and he hangs out at the basketball field the entire fucking day and shoots hoops, and he's not good at it. And he puts a lot of time, research on it, even if you take whatever approach, and he's not gonna make it. He's not a pro player. And all these guys go to school, go to Harvard, go to whatever, they get degrees, and this fucker is still he's still on the court shooting hoops, not making anything. That's the exact same thing from playing video games all day, not going anywhere with it. It's a one-to-one example. And then there's another topic. People will say exercise. That's good. I love that you guys brought that up. That is I think, the only validity or the only point that needs to be discussed with this take. With this take, here's what happens. I was blessed as a kid that I did skateboarding. Why? Because skateboarding is like, for me anyway, you have to learn how a lot of things work. With like the body, the mechanics, like there's a decent level of depth to it, right? I'm gonna time you out, dude. I don't like being fucking interrupted with them. Come on, man. Right. Like, you might not see it that way because you think it's skateboarding sucks, but there's a decent amount of depth that goes into knowing, studying the movement and how how they're gonna act, predicting it. There's a good amount, right? So later on, learning other sports and doing other shit later was very easy. Me and my brother could pick up anything, and our teacher at school was always very impressed, whatever, like in physical education, because we were kind of just easy to pick up, right? Because we need the movements, and that's applicable, right? And the problem about that with gaming is that it's not applicable. Yes, it might stimulate some sort of development in your brain when you're younger, and yes, you might get to places because you went through video games that challenge your mind. But here's what I think. Let's say I make a tree, right, of all the possible skills that a human can have. Let's just say, right, just try to be with me here, chat, right? There's all the things that you can be good at, all these little wings, right? Let's say, right. These are like core skills, like I don't know, I'm good with my hands, and I can make I'm good with my hands. Then you can do like woodworking, can do this, can do that, and from that you have this and that and this and that and more learning, more things, more whatever, all these things. And when it comes down to sports, right, like going out, and you guys said exercise, which is his argument, exercise and being outside and doing those things like jiu-jitsu, it's kind of like it's an early branch, right? And it does open and make you better and evolve you in a lot of things that are going to come next, because it's an early branch in this example. But the problem with gaming, I think, is that it's kind of like this, right? And like that, and like this, and like that, and like this, and like that, and it goes way. And gaming is kind of like that, and you become really good at it, and you min-max the fuck out of it, and you become a hardcore god at this. But this, it doesn't. The amount of complete, absolute options that stem from this isn't that much. And you really min-max that one part, right? When these things, they kind of open a lot more, right? A lot of these skills and stuff, they just don't translate. Even though career-wise, there might be a lot of options, and in terms of top 1% of gaming can lead to this, that. Yeah, you're right. In terms of professionally, you're right. It probably is somewhat the same between real sports and gaming. There's a good equivalent. But when it comes to actually learning and developing, not really. Yeah, you might learn how to communicate, what are the things you get from gaming. Interacting with others, reading their mentality, their psychology. Maybe you learn how to be precise with your mouse. Like, there's a couple things, but it's not like anything too wide. That's the problem with it. The big point, I think, is how we're gonna the biggest problem isn't that people are gonna try to do it and they're gonna fail and they're gonna get fucked up. The problem is that people are trying gradually to make it something that they can do without putting it all on the line, like real sports, right? So if you go through normal school, right, and then you enter high school, right? Now there's gonna be more programs. I think we'll see how that goes. I'm a big advocate for it. I'm a big advocate for it, right? Because it's whatever. Why be against it? It's a good thing for gaming. But now there's high school leagues or whatever, or like high school circuits or something like that. And then there's college. There's circuits that people can do, so they can play games and study at the same time and go through the whole process. Right? Has that really done a crazy amount of did a lot of big people stem from that and actual now pro gamers from these circuits? Not a crazy amount to the ratio of the ones of real sports. No, probably not right now, since they're kind of building those infrastructures or whatever. But I think what they want to do with gaming overall is they make it so if somebody decides that's what he wants to do, that the programs are there and they can do it. without like risking the schooling entirely. And I think that's where like things become a problem. When everybody, like actually millions, fuck their schooling up because they think they're gonna be pro, right? With no infrastructure. Like there's nothing there's nothing to support it or make it stand, right? So you're kind of like you know, when it comes down to real sports, you know, you have like the college, like what is it? You know, when they help you fund it or something like that. What is it called? You have like your high school circuits, right? Yeah, and then you get like your scholarship, and then you get like your medium league, and then you get like the final big, like the big NBA or whatever, right? And that's like kind of supported as a thing. But the problem with gaming is it's kind of like this, right? And it's really wobbly. You're kind of like on a limb the whole time. And if that fails, it's like, and you fall all the way to fucking zero. Like, not like a little bit, like an actual fucking cookie. Like an actual round shaped fucking zero. Right? Which is what I think that this is a little bit about. That's kind of the problem. That's kind of where I would be right now, dude. The big cookie zero.